So among the delegation, President Lai is taking Taiwan's Indigenous Affairs Minister. Why do you think he might be on this trip to the Pacific?
I think his participation in this trip is really pivotal. And Minister Ljaucu, he is an indigenous person himself, and he's good at that, is well experienced in cultural exchange and cultural preservation and language preservation, all these aspects. And so by having him there, in a way, he is well experienced. He can share all his experiences with all these nations. In another way, it also shows that Taiwanese government cares about Taiwanese indigenous people. I think them using the cultural aspect and maybe somehow emotional aspect is the strategy they're having this time, to try to tell them that we are a country, we treasure indigenous people's voice, we value your multiculturalism, and we value your subjectivity and sovereignty, and somehow this value-based strategy is very different from the economic helps that China could offer.
What sort of exchanges are there between Taiwan's indigenous people and the indigenous Pacific Islanders? What cultures do they share, or what sort of exchanges are going on at the moment?
Because of the culturally and linguistic tie between us, Taiwanese indigenous people, and the nations, Pacific nations, I think they're hoping to somehow share a sense of identity, meaning that we are a big family, so we share similar identity, and then we can do all these things, achieve things together as a family.
Taiwan's indigenous people have obviously had a very difficult history and have been discriminated against and still face stigma. And in the recent years, there has been more done to give them more voice and to protect languages, culture. Why might indigenous people want to also reconnect with other indigenous people around the world, including in the Pacific?
So here I would like to borrow my colleague, Professor Awimona's words. He said that we Taiwanese indigenous people, we are in double marginality. For instance, in Taiwan, we are not the dominant culture, we are suppressed. And in the international level, we are also facing the pressure from China. We are usually invisible. And however, if we are connected to Pacific Islanders or Austronesian people, because we have shared cultural and linguistic ties, and if we connect to them, or we can say we return to the family, that somehow help our identity, gives us more confidence, and also make us feel we belong somewhere and our voice could be heard.